Out front tonight, Trump threatening to declare a national emergency just to get his wall. The president says he can go it alone and start building without congressional approval. He just has to, declare this national emergency. The president making the threat during a nearly 40-minute question and answer session with reporters this afternoon in the Rose Garden.
Have you considered using emergency powers to grant yourself authorities to build this wall without congressional approval? And second,
yes,
on Mexico, you have?
Yes, I have. And I can do it if I want.
So you don't need congressional approval to build the wall?
No, we can use them. Absolutely. We can call a national emergency because of the security of our country. Absolutely.
So if it's so obvious, absolutely, so sure that he can do this, why is Trump letting hundreds of thousands of federal workers twist in the wind without pay? Something that he is willing to keep doing for, as he said today, months or even years. You'll hear him say that. Now, let's be direct. If the president declares a national emergency to build the wall, he would be using taxpayer dollars to build it. And frankly, even though he is twisting and turning to say Mexico will pay for it, he knows that is not true. Watch these exchanges today from the Rose Garden.
Earlier this week, you repeated your claim that through the USMCA, Mexico will be paying for the wall. Can you describe in detail the specific mechanisms in the trade deal that will
Well, you're going to be
Mexico
seeing it very
pay for
soon.
the wall?
We made a new deal, a new trade deal. We will be making billions and billions of dollars a year more money.
So why not
and
use
that
that
is
for the wall?
paying, excuse me, because I didn't have to. That is paying for the wall. Many, many times over. Let me just tell you, excuse me, are you ready? Are you ready? I just told you that we just made a trade deal, and we will take in billions and billions of dollars, far more than the cost of the wall.
He can say billions and billions as many times as he wants, but that does not change the facts because, as we've been saying, American taxpayers are paying for the wall. If the trade deal passes Congress and if it saves billions and billions of dollars, those billions and billions of dollars are yours to do with as you please, not his to double count as Mexico paying for the wall. If Trump uses that money to pay for the wall, he is taking it away from you. That means you are paying for it, not Mexico. So even if he gets his wall, Trump has broken a signature campaign promise.
I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words. Mexico will pay for the wall. No, Mexico will pay for the wall. They're going to pay for the wall. I said Mexico will pay for the wall. Who's going to pay for the wall? In the end, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. I'm just telling you.
Promise broken. And the president today made another curious turn, saying that his wall may be made of steel, not concrete. Listen to this.
Now, the steel is actually more expensive than the concrete, but I think we're probably talking about steel. Steel is stronger than concrete.
So steel is more expensive, but he is flipping to steel. Why the change? Well, our Caitlin Collins asked him.
You ran your campaign promising supporters that Mexico is going to pay for the wall, that the wall was going to be made of concrete. You just said earlier that the wall could be made of steel, and right now our government is shut down over a demand from your administration that the American taxpayer pay for the wall. So how can you say you're not failing on that promise to your supporters?
As far as concrete, I said I was going to build a wall. I never said, I'm going to build a concrete. I said I'm going to build a wall.
Now, Caitlin was right. The president did say it was going to be concrete. Here he is in 2016.
They said, Donald, you know you're not going to build a wall. I said, why not? You can't build a wall. Really? Why not? Tell me why we can't. And they said, I don't know. Do you know how easy that is? Beautiful precast concrete going up. No windows, no nothing. Precast concrete going very high. Let's see about a little higher than that.
Okay. The change from concrete to steel may not just be cosmetic, something that Democrats will vote for instead of concrete, as the president implied today. It's going to cost more taxpayer money, so let's be clear, more of your money, not Mexico's, and Trump knows that. But Trump wants to help steel companies.
We need steel for defense. We need steel for a lot of things, steel and aluminum. But those industries were in deep trouble. The steel industry was almost dead. And now it's a very vibrant industry.
Trump crediting his own tariffs with steel's comeback. And adding a wall to American steel's bottom line will help Trump's bottom line, right? If he gets his $5.6 billion and gives it to the steel companies. According to the Department of Energy, the highest concentration of steel mills in the United States is in states including Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Michigan. States crucial to Trump's victory. He needs them to win re-election. And that $5.6 billion taxpayer injection to steel companies would help Donald Trump. Abby Phillip is out front live outside the White House tonight. And Abby, what about this national emergency that the president brought up today? Can he do it? Will he actually do it to get the wall?
Well, he can, or he could, but the question really is, why hasn't he? That's partly because it would require the president to use money from the Department of Defense in order to build the wall. 3 administration officials have told CNN that in December, Defense Department officials actually came to the White House to talk to them about this possibility, where this money would come from and how it would be done legally. He would have to declare some kind of national emergency and then dedicate about $1 to $2 billion from the Pentagon budget toward building the wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. But, Aaron, I think the fact that the president hasn't done this yet is a sign of how he probably understands the politics of this. Taking money from the Department of Defense to dedicate to a border wall that was supposed to have been paid for by Mexico is not something that would have worked for him politically. And the president has in the past talked about this issue of declaring a national emergency before. He's been talking about it since October, and he's never done it. He's never made any moves, as far as we know, to actually declare a national emergency, despite saying that he believes that there are even terrorists coming across the southern border. And by the way, there is still no evidence that that claim is substantiated, at least not to the degree that the president has made it seem. In the meantime, the government is shut down over this border wall. He's chosen to pick this fight with Democrats, and so far he's not budged from his demand for $5.6 billion for this wall. It's been 14 days and counting. This meeting today at the White House did not seem to really clear up a central issue of which side is going to budge. Are the Democrats going to either give him money for the wall, or is the president going to relent? That being said, the White House has said that tomorrow there will be another meeting in the Eisenhower Executive Office building with staff and with a committee of White House officials, the Vice President Mike Pence, his Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, and Jared Kushner over this border wall. It's not clear whether or not that will produce any progress, in part because it doesn't seem that, at least on the Democratic side or on the congressional side, that principles are going to be a part of this meeting. And the Democrats have made it very clear they don't think that any progress can be made unless President Trump is sitting across from them in a room, really making it clear where he stands on this issue.
All right, Abby, thank you very much. And obviously need the president involved, right? When the vice president went and offered $2.5 billion, the president undercut him and said he wouldn't even do it. So if Pence can't speak for Trump, nobody can. Out front now, Democratic Congressman John Sarbanes. This standstill over the wall and the government shutdown obviously massively affecting your district, Congressman. You've got one of the highest concentrations of federal workers in the country in Maryland 3. The president says, Congressman, he can declare a national emergency and build the wall without you. What would you do about it?
Well, it's a mistake for the president to declare this a national emergency. He ought to be collaborating with members of Congress to focus on smart border security measures. He's obsessed with the wall. Members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans alike, are very focused on border security and what we can do to ensure that our borders are sound, that they're protected, and so forth. But this obsession with the wall isn't helping anybody, and frankly, holding 800,000 federal employees hostage to this idea of a wall is not really smart leadership on the part of the president. That's why Democrats have asked that we settle the shutdown issue. Then let's have a focused conversation on how to improve
30 days to debate,
border security. And we're willing to put money behind that.